guys, welcome back to Choose Your Own Path. So today what I wanted to do is show you guys the Proxxon table, the hot wire cutting table. I want to show you it in action, show you how it cuts compared to cutting it by hand, which I'm not going to show you that because that's a pain in the ass. Not very fun. So the one thing I wanted to show you guys, and in other videos I've seen it kind of same thing, was the railing, the guard. Just kind of turn it quickly. As you can see, it can go in different angles, whatever you want. And then on this side, it has a tightening and loosening for the size that you want. The railing, there's a company that, not company, it's a guy, his own business, but he's out in the UK and he makes one, and he makes a nice tall one, very solid. I'm going to try to mimic something like that because I'm not going to go spend the money on buying something like that. It's way too far. It costs way too much, I think personally. So, I mean, in itself, the railing, it's just like on a table saw, same thing. The only thing with this is it doesn't have anything to clamp down on the other side, and I'll show you that. So when you put this down and you do your measurement, so we're going to be making 1-inch bricks for, you know, a build. So 1 inch is basically, if you took your tape measure or your measuring stick, 1 inch is basically, they have it in lines here, so it's a couple of lines from where the wire is right here, where the tip of my finger is. Okay, so I would set that up here like this, you know, it's pretty much even, and then I would just tighten this down. The problem with this, and it's been done on other videos, is there's a gap here because this is tight and this is not. And you see how that jumps? Well, when you're pushing something against it, it wants to. Did you see that? It just did. You can't tighten this anymore than it is. It's at 0 and it's on there tight, and it's not. It's gonna move no matter what. So with the jig that you can get out there is basically same kind of piece. You could use this one, in fact, and then build a wall up here, build it so it's more solid, maybe even having something at the bottom. But what I did was I just came up with a little clamping system. I didn't have a big C-clamp, so all I did was I took a little clamp and then I put an extension on it. I put some 5-minute epoxy in there, and then I just taped it. Guess what? It's gonna work for my thing. So it's gonna sit under the box, under the machine itself, and then I'm going to keep it to the outside of the machine, line it up to pretty much where I want it to be, you know, and then give it a couple of turns like so, like to tighten it, and then make it sure. Don't want to go too tight because this is plastic under here. It's a hard plastic, but I don't want to break it either. And just to make sure that you're still on the line, you got to keep an eye on that. All these have like a gridded line to them. So if you want a nice straight cut, you got to put it on there good. Now, the other thing about the straight cut is also how your styrofoam is cut. This is a kind of crappy, jaggedy piece already that I had cut with the knife, just a normal knife. So, in theory, it won't do the first cut very well. It might not even do the second cut very well. You could probably get in here and just kind of bring up the blade as close as you can, get a straight cut first, and then go at it. That's fine too. A lot of these builds that we do, the bricks aren't perfect. We don't want them perfectly square. So, very simple mechanism. I love it. We plugged it in. We're going to turn it on. Here's your on-off button. This is your heat control. This actually, what it is the wire that's running from here. I don't know if you can see that. The wire that's running from here runs all the way down and runs into, there's a long bar in the back here, and it catches it, and you can hear how tight it is. So you want to make sure when you're got that on, you got that fairly tight, so you can hear that kind of piano stringing kind of sound. So all we're going to do is we're going to turn it on. You can hear it hum. Now, depending on what kind of styrofoam you're using, also makes a difference. But this is, compared to when I was cutting by hand, that's an easy cut right there. And if you can see the quality, that's pretty good. You'll see little ridges. Like if you're going for a really nice cut, the problem with these little ridges is because the piece here is not exactly straight. Now it's straight, so we should be able to just push gently and follow the line, and then keep on going. If you stop between the cuts, always shut your machine off. You're not going to use it. That's it. If you stop between the cuts, you slow down or something, you'll get that no matter what, because it's still hot, right? And it goes in. These ones are a bit big, and it cuts. It's not a saw. It's not a table saw where, you know, it has to cut left or right. You can go at any direction you want. And like I said, see, I just stopped myself, and you'll see little puffs of smoke coming out. Actually, what it is this is when I just watched a video yesterday again from Black Magic Craft. He was explaining, he did a video a while back of what it is. That is moisture that's coming out. As long as the smoke isn't black, that's where it's more chemicals, more toxic to you. Again, see, I stopped and I kind of cut it. That's okay. We're not really worried. Nice little thin cuts too. You could use them. Did I show you that? Like that's a pretty thin cut. So we'll keep on with. Heat temperature wise, it really depends. I don't know if you could see, but that's on the highest setting, and that sucker is red hot. For thicker pieces, say like something like this big guy that I want to cut in, and you want to go slow enough because you don't want to bend this guy and burn it. Now that's a nice clean cut itself. So we're going to keep on going and just see if we can cut some of these guys out, and then we're just going to run it through. Like I said, I was asked this to show it cutting in motion, and this is exactly. Now we're talking about, compared to trying to do that by hand, which would take me at least, you know, a minute or two to, and then when you're using a blade, you know, if you tilt some way, you'll get really long cut, like crooked cuts and that. This is a nice straight cut, and I can attest for that. It is very straight. So as fast as that was, perfect. The nice thing about having the table with the grids on it, again, every 2 squares is an inch. So I don't even have to sit there with a measuring tape or nothing. I just turn it on, line it up, and I want these to be about 1.5 inches long. So all I'm going to do is that. And then you can see that one cut crooked, but that's fine, because if I would have had the guide the other way, probably be a lot better. And then you would see, plus this guide's in the way, but that's all it is. So we need to make a lot of these guys in order to make builds. So scrap piece of our styrofoam, and it goes through. Now this wire is a I think it's called a Nikron wire filament. It can snap, and it will snap, I'm sure of it, but there is lots here that comes with the machine when you buy it. So you don't usually snap too many of them, they say. It can happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. It can happen. But look at that. By the time I did, you know, by the time I do one by hand, I've already done probably like 5 of them with the machine. So let me tell you, it works. And with this clamping system, it makes a big difference. We're talking about something that's going to hold us down, not push it out. But like I said, let me shut that off again. Like I said, I will be figuring out a jig for it so that you can see what I'm doing, basically, as in taller cuts. You know, a nice big piece that's as tall as this would be nice to run, but when pushing, you can push forward. Let me just say, like, you know, and then I'll do angle cuts. This machine also, with the other kind of jig that I'm looking to do, is, like I said, it has a higher backing, but it'll also have some sort of slit in the bottom, because, and I'm not going to take it apart right now, because you know what, you need to get yourself a square, and you need to line up this to that hole and make sure it's even level, right? Because if not, it's out, it'll do a crooked cut. And saying that, there's a little knob on the back of here. You can see this one on the back of here. There's another one. This one controls the wire if it snaps. The other one on the back controls how far. So you can actually pull this piece all the way to the back, and it'll give you that angle cut if you're doing certain, I don't know, certain cuts. So having a longer, taller guard and then having a slit through it all the way down somehow, it won't be that hard to figure out, but we'll do it, will allow me to cut big pieces, but also have this going through, so you're not going to run it. Also, having a piece of it, like I'm talking more like a piece of MDF or something like that, to put on here, like so, and then have a backing, you know, like a backing like this, so that you can still use your slide. But then you also, what I'm thinking, because I've seen it done, is having a slit through here, so that you can actually run it to the back of the arm, and you can, like, you'll, like, say the hole's here in the middle, you could actually go a lot longer, and with the guard railing being here in the back, you can cut larger pieces. A big piece of this pink styrofoam, you know, they come in, when you buy it, they're 4x8 sheets. I think, well, for me, when I brought it home, the first initial cut was to take a knife and slice it in half. So now it was 4x4. So I had two pieces, 4x4. Now, 4x4 piece is still pretty big. Having this machine, we could extend it all the way to the back. We could make a nice, long, smooth cut, nice, and then we could keep on doing our pieces. So, yeah, that's what is going to be somewhere in the near future. Like I said, right now, we're just using this little clamp system, which should be good. It's on there solid, you know what I mean? It will work. Just making sure that when I'm putting this on here, and if you got a Proxxon machine and you're going to do the same kind of things, just make sure you line up your guard to the lines that you want, and then holding it down firmly, clamp it. You could probably get away with putting your thumb just down here and then running it, but if you want to use two hands to get a nice smooth cut so it doesn't do this, it's best to have something on the back. Why they didn't come up with something like that, I don't know. I mean, I don't sell the things, and you know, maybe if he's Proxxon sees our videos or sees more videos, or we email him and saying, what if you came up with something that had it so it can come down? Like, it should have had two. Sorry, I'm gonna bring it up. This whole railing here where it has this, it should have had one on each side, so that the bar just slides in, just for the long cuts. There's another slot here which allows you to do angle cuts, so you can angle this out, do diagonal, whatever you want. It, you know, it's just something in the near future they may come up with. Maybe they have it. I don't know. I didn't even ask. I didn't even think of it at the time. So anyway, that's going to be the end of that for the video. Thanks for watching. I will be making tons of these 1-inch bricks and getting them ready for the next build. Like I said, we did this guy here. I had to change the wings. I was such a dumbass. I put them on backwards. These were going up in the air. Then my boy said something to me. I said, I'll fix it. But then somebody on Facebook mentioned it. I went, yeah, I better do it because it looks dumb. So now the wings are on properly. That's the way the wings are supposed to be on the side. It's ready for game action. Okay. All right. So let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Like, share, subscribe. Do whatever you have to do. Tip jar is always at the bottom to help donate for other things like more styrofoam, other kind of toolings. Everything goes into the builds I do. Nothing goes into my pocket for like coffee or cigarettes. Don't do that. I hope everybody stays safe. Keep your hands clean. Stay away from everybody for a bit. You know, we'll get back there. We're going to get back. We're all going to survive this. You know, and be supportive. You guys are always awesome. Thanks for watching. If I could do it, you could do it. Choose your own path, guys.